Hello, Trina here. Thanks for watching. So this is day 15 before my radiation, 33 session stereotactic radiation for my grade 2 meningioma. And I would like to share with you what I do, what my physical health protocol is in this video. Now, when I say physical, it's because there is a mental health protocol I do as well, which is nearly equally as important. I mean, these two things are intertwined anyway, your physical health and your mental health. And it's very important to lower your cortisol in order to, get rid or combat inflammation as well. So I'll share the mental health protocol in a different video, otherwise it's going to be too long. Just a brief update since last time. As you know, in my last video, I was a bit thrown off course after the meeting with my oncologist. She was very straightforward and emphasized everything that could go wrong and the seizures I should expect, etc., etc. But I had a couple of days to remind myself that, and ChatGPT as well, to remind myself that these risks are there and they might be increased for someone like me with a damaged tissue already, and also it being positioned by a critical area, which the visual cortex is, is a very delicate area. So there might be increased risks of seizures or, side effects like that for me. However, I also remind myself that in general, these risks are risks and they are not that common, right? So I have to believe that rather than, expecting the worst. And it's taken me 2 days, but I shifted that mindset again, and I'm really pleased with that. Now, I've also, since we talked last, done 2 things that you really have to be your own doctor. And again, I'm sure you're aware of that, because this healthcare system offers you one way, and then you have to figure out the rest, because there are so many things that can help you, like I will share now in my physical health protocol. But I have been, as I said, I won't go gentle into that good night, as Dylan Thomas said. I am doing what I can, and I phoned the hospital today to ask whether the scan, the MRI I had for the radiation purposes on Friday, whether they can compare that with the scan I had done 5 weeks ago, which was the one that showed the recurrence. And the reason why I did that was because during those 5 weeks, I started keto. Straight away after I learned about my recurrence, I started doing keto diet. And for the past, I slowly kind of weaned into it. And then the past 3 weeks has been strict keto. And I do believe in that. I do believe in it being a metabolic issue as well. And so I have asked whether I can get my neurosurgeon, that's not something they normally do, but whether I can get him to look at both scans 5 weeks apart. And if they would let me know if there are any signs of stagnation or decrease in tumor size, because if that is the case, and this might have been working so quickly, I know it's a long shot, but you need to do what you need to do, then I will push on the brakes and I will postpone my radiation sessions 3 months and continue. I will continue doing keto regardless. But I really want to see whether there's anything they can see at those scans if they compare. And they were willing to do that, or so the secretary said. So I'm hoping they can do that. I don't expect anything. Meningiomas grow slowly, so 5 weeks might not be able to show any difference whatsoever. But, you know, it's worth a try. And it puts you into the driver's seats and you take action. Also, I've been speaking to a place who does hyperbaric oxygen treatment today, and I have to cross-check a few things so I feel comfortable about doing it, because it's all about, you know, feeling comfortable that it's safe. And there's just one or two other things I have to check in order to make sure that I do feel safe about it. But I think I'll end up doing that very shortly. I've been advised now by several people that it's a very good idea to do quite a lot of times prior to radiation in order to support your immune system. I'll do another video about that. Now, the physical health protocol, fasting, everyone's talking about that. I've done that for my other 2 tumors. When I learned about the recurrence 5 weeks ago, this one, I have tried fasting twice again, 24-hour fast. Both of those fasts unfortunately resulted the day after in a seizure-like activity, you know, like a seizure-like episode, I would call it, yeah. And so I don't dare do it. Again, I think I do believe in fasting. Absolutely, I believe in fasting. And if I had cancer, I would go on a 7-day fast, 10-day fast, whatever, right now, and not give a damn about my seizures. You know, just been lying in bed, minimizing the seizure risks. And but this is not cancer, so it's a bit different. There were some seizure episodes, and so I have to acknowledge that everyone is different. And for me, in this point of time, I don't want to gamble with that. It seems like my brain do need some fuel. And so I stopped doing that. I am fully aware that it actually, in many circumstances, are used for epilepsy, to treat epilepsy. So it's, of course, very ironic that I react. However, I do react. And you can't, again, you have to go in individually and assess what seems to be working for you, what you are comfortable with as well, and what doesn't seem to be working for me. So fasting is something, as right now, I won't do again, at least for the time being. I do intermittent fasting. As I said, I started keto 5 weeks ago when I learned about the recurrence, and 3 weeks ago I started doing intermittent fasting as well. Most of my radiation times, I've made sure, are around lunch, and I've done that. They were normally set to be late afternoon. That's really problematic for me, both with my vision, because I have to use public transportation, and that is not very nice for me in general when there's a lot of people, because my vision is very disturbed by other people moving, lights, etc. So I asked whether I could have the radiation schedule changed, and so now most of my radiation times, luckily, are set to be around noon. And my intermittent fasting, my goal is to gradually work toward that. So I will be fasting when I have the radiation, and I'm nearly there already. I'm eating right now between 11, 12 noon, and then until 6 p.m. No, 6:30 actually. And that's going well. That's actually going well. Okay, health protocol. First thing, keto. I said that before. This little thing here, Mojo, the Keto Mojo meter, I cannot recommend it enough. It's really made a huge difference. I've done keto in the past before. Not to the extent I've been doing the past 5 weeks. It was like a cold turkey of complex carbs 5 weeks ago. And the first 2 weeks I didn't have this meter. But after I got it 3 weeks ago, I've been doing very strict keto. And I've been able to follow and maintain the keto because, or the diet, because of this, because you can actually track your numbers. And even though you're doing keto, there are still foods that will rise your glucose levels and your GKI, which is what you want low in terms of therapeutic ketosis, which is what is recommendable when you do radiation, also to shrink tumors, etc. But even though you're doing keto, the GKI I experience could still be, at not the therapeutic level, but the moderate level. So it's only after I got the meter and I can track my figures that I've been able to get it down. And now I'm actually at the therapeutic level. I'm happy that I did it the way I did, that my body got used to it slowly. So I built it up over 5 weeks, but I am now in a therapeutic keto state every morning, and that's where I use that as the main time to track it. You have to use it at the same time every day, of course, to get a truthful picture. So definitely the keto diet, I'm trusting that. Now what I do, again, it's different for everyone, but I can just share with you what I do. There are things I would also like to do, but I'm hesitant with, either for economical purposes or because I am simply a little bit, I need to figure out whether they will work for me. Again, a lot of research out there, as you know, all the videos are always about cancer. Meningioma is a different thing, and so I always have to cross-check thoroughly whether these things also apply to meningiomas. I've actually asked Thomas Seafried, who's behind the meter here, whether his findings are for meningiomas, because they do act differently. I mean, they can actually, as far as I read, switch to using ketones. So what you do with the keto diet, obviously, is you starve the cells from glucose, which are their fuel, and you switch into the brain is running on ketones instead. I read somewhere that meningioma, as opposed to cancer, can actually switch and adapt to using ketones instead. And if that is so, then what's the point of doing keto diet? Because this is what you want with the keto diet. You want the ketones up. But Thomas Seafried said that it is still mitochondrial issue, and the issue, it's still dysregulated growth in meningiomas. Mitochondria are still damaged because they divide uncontrollably. So in that way, it should definitely work with meningiomas as well. And I do trust the man. So what I do is I also use a coconut oil. I just started doing that a week ago. Very concentrated coconut oil, MCT oil, C8, which is the most concentrated form. And what that does, and I've been able to track that on the meter, is that it elevates your ketone. It gives you ketones levels a boost straight away, and therefore it gives your brain a window where it's it prolongs how it can prolong fasting, whatever, it just gives you your brain a window of using ketones more than glucose. So this is a really good go-to as well when I'm going to hospital. But as I said, I can already see how it elevates my ketone levels, and that's what you want. So that's really recommendable. I do grow my own broccoli sprouts, high in antioxidants, of course. Same thing, matcha, been doing that for ages as well, high in antioxidants. I do D3, K2. I do it 5,000 IU. So some people recommend 10,000. Again, I'm a cautious person, and I'm always scared of doing more damage than good. So I've kind of settled on the middle ground here, also knowing my body, very sensitive. So yeah, just doing kind of the in-between here. I'm also doing magnesium, and I'm doing organic bone broth. And that's just to protect nerve cells and reduce any inflammation. Exercise, another major factor in the physical protocol. I have a bike in here. I can't run anymore because of my visual problems. I have problems with movements on the left side of my eye, and but I have like an exercise bike, and if I put sunglasses on, I can't really see the movement. So I do that, not to the extent I should, and I definitely have to up my game here. I'll start today. I actually started a bit yesterday. I put some good music on, something that makes me happy, and I sing along, and I, clap or whatever, and it just puts me in a really good mood, and I need to increase that, and also do strength training. Again, definitely not to the extent I should, and that is my Achilles heel. It's something I have to target straight away in order to be in the best shape possible. And also, and this is just a theory and a gut feeling, in between my first tumor and my first recurrence, there was 3 years. In between my second recurrence, first recurrence and second recurrence, which is now, there was 2 years. When I had the second recurrence, those 2 years where I was completely free, there was nothing at all, I was exercising a lot. I was very much in love. I met this guy, I was so much in love, and I exercised extensively, probably also because of that, for the first 2 years. And I always suspected that for, keeping the tumor at bay. And then after a couple of years, I ran into a really heavy period where my oldest daughter, was very ill with migraines, severely. And it was very stressful time. And also I ran into problems with my boyfriend. There was a lot of arguments, a lot of stress. And I knew straight away that was going to push me over the edge, and it did, and the tumor came back. And I actually said that to someone, that this is going to get my tumor back. And half a year later, back it was. So I have a feeling that the oxygen, obviously, again, exercise, oxygen to the brain. The tumor, prefers a low oxygen environment, and therefore exercise is great. And I really truly believe that that's what kept my tumor at bay for the longer period first time around. So I'm definitely going to work on that for sure. Right, I think that's it, and I will do more videos, tell you about the HBOT, the hyperbaric oxygen treatment, because I think I will start that, and I will certainly do a video on the mental protocol. I've got some things I'm going to do there as well, actively, and I'll definitely make a video on that. If there's anything you want to ask me, please ask, and I'll do my best to answer. If there's anything you want me to do a video on, please say. Tomorrow I am going for my PET scan, CT and PET scan. That's a final scan before the radiation, and then I won't be in the hospital until my radiation starts in 15 days. Those 15 days is where I hope the magic will happen, so I can push those brakes. But we have to wait and see. I've got the hope. I'm a very optimistic person in general, and I'm going into this with my head held high for sure. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back. Thank you.